We're on.
All right. Well, welcome everybody today to our office hours. Today we are focusing on how to search commercial real estate on QuantumListing. For those of you that don't know, QuantumListing is a commercial real estate listing site. It's completely free to search. There is no paywall, and in order to post listings, it's a mere $89.99 per year for unlimited listings. We were developed as a low-cost solution to the very expensive options out there on the market that those of you on the call are probably familiar with. And typically we do a webinar every Wednesday or every other Wednesday at the very least. We moved it around a little bit this week for the Jewish holiday, but every now and then we like to do office hours. And these operate just a little differently. While we do have a focused topic because we want to make sure that we have relevant content that you really walk away from this session feeling like you learned something specific. If you have any general questions or just kind of want to, throw any comments out there, this is very interactive and feel free to just jump in, hence the word office hours. Think of, meeting a professor or a teacher and you're, getting extra help or you're trying to learn information. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute one of our callers just so no background noise, but feel free to unmute yourself or to type in the chat and we will definitely be checking that out and make sure that all your questions get answered. So like I said, today we're specifically talking about searching for commercial real estate on QuantumListing. We will give a brief overview of our site and kind of the tools you can use for searching, but really the main idea today is to get to the website, show you how to search, because this is the type of thing that is really important to be hands-on for learning. And of course, we'll give you our contact information and there will be time for questions throughout and at the end, so don't be shy on that. So QuantumListing, as I already mentioned, we give your listings maximum exposure by offering a large range of features so that you can market your commercial properties without breaking your budget. With QuantumListing, you can post an unlimited number of listings and market them on all forms of social media. And as mentioned again, there is no paywall for the potential buyers and tenants to view the properties on our site. So without further ado, we are going to kind of jump in on the site right now, but I'll just kind of quickly talk about a few of the tools we're going to look at. So first, I'll show you just how to search. I'll show you how to search without even being logged in because there is no registration or paywall. I'll show you how to use the search filter button, which is what you're going to want to use in order to narrow down a more specific search, and also, kind of figure out what parameters you're looking for. We also have ways for you to get in touch with the agent. So there is 2 buttons on the site, both blue buttons that say contact the agent. Both of those buttons will create a pop-up, which also automatically displays after 10 to 15 seconds. You'll see that in a minute. And essentially, when you fill out that form, which takes less than a second, or less than 10 seconds, I should say, you just put in your first name, last name, email, and phone number. So depending on how fast you type, it could be a minute, but it's very quick, and it will get you in contact with the agent, and they'll receive a lead saying, hey, someone's interested in your property. Why don't you reach out to them? If you like to get things done as soon as possible and you don't want to wait for the agent to receive the lead and reach out to you, you can email the agent directly. You can also look at their contact information and just give them a call. We do also have a page on our site that navigates you to specific states. So if you're only interested in real estate in the state of Michigan, you can click on the Michigan button on this page and it will bring you to all your Michigan properties. You can also just search Michigan from the main page as well. And lastly, you can actually create a search request form. So essentially, when you go to our site, which I'll show you right now, when you first come here, there's 2 options. So first and foremost, we do recommend that you log in if you're already a user. Secondly, if you're not a user, we recommend you join. If you don't have listings, it's free to join. And as already mentioned, it's very affordable if you are posting listings. And we also recommend that you schedule a demo. Demos are very similar to this format right here, but they're more one-on-one. They're not recorded. Some people get camera shy, which is understandable. And so, you can actually click on this and you can see here there's a variety of options. There's everywhere from virtual lunch, which was our founder, David, who's on the call, his kind of doing during COVID, but we decided to keep it around since remote work is so common and so many people are not able to get the social interaction during the workday that kind of helps them thrive and, bounce ideas off of each other and whatnot. You also can do a 10-minute Q&A. You can do anywhere from a 15-minute meeting up to a 60-minute hands-on demo. So there's a lot of options there. We recommend you pick the one that just kind of serves the time that you want. And during that period of time, you can really get any questions answered that you'd like, and we can show you as much of the site as time permits. So those are the three kind of just, kind of housekeeping things that I recommend. When you get to this main part right here, which is where you're going to start searching for listings, you can do one of two things. So I first recommend, if you know what market you're looking in, I would go ahead and type in the location that you're looking to search. So you can go as broad as searching like Florida, for example, which will show you all of the listings that we have in Florida. That's going to bring you 4,398 listings, which is, a lot to just scroll through. You're not going to want to go through 367 pages. So the search filter button and this little green button here is what I would recommend. Here you can do a number of things. I wouldn't recommend using the radius in this particular scenario. That would be more if you wanted to expand the radius. Say you searched a really small town and you only got a handful of listings and you wanted to say, hey, show me 20 miles outside of this really small rural area. That would be, a little more relevant. So we can do that in a bit, but I would recommend really narrowing down your asset and trade type. That will really give you a better sense of what you're looking for. So, you can go ahead and click land and click land for sale. And then all you do is click apply filters. And now your search has gone from over 4,000 to 1,000, which is actually a lot. I guess there's a lot of land in Florida. If you wanted to do something more specific, you could even, and now I just cleared the search, by the way, by clicking this clear button. But you could type in Florida, and once you're on this page, like aside from the home page, you can just click this green search button. And as long as the location pin is selected, you're going to be searching for an area throughout the country. Whereas if you clicked on this, you could also search by our users, but we'll show you that in a little bit. We want to focus on the real estate for now. So I'll click the location pin and I'll go ahead and type in Florida once again, just to go off of our example that we already saw. Oops, sorry about that. Well, we'll do it from here. So once again, we can search for land for sale, and I'll do that by clicking the filter button. And unfortunately, GoToMeeting sometimes slows down my search a little bit, so just give it a second. Going to Florida. I'd like to be in Florida right now. Actually, maybe in 2 months I'd like to be in Florida. Right now I'm good in New England. So we're looking for land for sale, and what are we thinking for our price range? I'm going to say between 1 million and 2 million. This is just a guess. I have no clue what's going to show up. Now we have 200 listings. So before we had seen 1,000 listings show up for land for sale in Florida, and now we've narrowed it down. So I see some good looking listings here. You will notice that this listing, we'll have to, let our user here know that they need to make sure their images are coming through. If you're adding listings, images are super, super important, not only for the person looking at the listings, but also for the Google search indexing. You're going to get a lot more views of your listings coming in from search engines and on our site if you do have good images, high quality. So I really like these maps that I think SVN gives. They're really nice looking. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on this one in Daytona Beach. And I'll show you what you can do with a listing using our search tools without being logged in. So here's that blue contact the agent button, which we're going to see that pop up in just a few seconds when the 10 to 15 second pop-up window shows up. So I won't click on it yet. You can scroll down and get more information about the listing. You can see the price, obviously. We know that it's, see, that's the pop-up information. I could go ahead. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to give this person a false lead, but I could go ahead and type in my first name, last name, email, and phone number, and then I could add the request. And when you do this, you also can subscribe to our emails if you would like. You also could say, don't show me this message again, and that's fine too, whatever you prefer. So down here, you can see a number of pieces of information. It'll show you whatever the user fills out. So there's always an additional URL, especially we do have a lot of users syndicating from BuildOut. So you can always look at their site as well. It's going to be the same information though, but if you want to check out their team or see, where they're based out of, you can do that. You can also click this button, which we already saw. It's up there. And in case you missed it when you scrolled, we wanted to make sure you had another opportunity. So it is also right here. And you can expand the little contact information here, and you can see the person's name. You can see their email address and their phone number. If you are a BuildOut user, make sure that you update your membership so that you get the best quality leads and the most leads possible. So from here, there's a few tools on the right-hand side. You'll see this red share button, which means you can share the listing via LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You, generally speaking, you can send out an email, but you don't want, if you want to send an email blast, which essentially you can upload a spreadsheet and you can essentially send a mass email using our site. If you want to do that, you do need to be a member, but I'm going to go ahead and just send out this email. And actually, I think you might need to be a member in order to send an email. But David, if you know off the top of your head, feel free to let me know. And if not, yeah, you definitely do, because you need to be logged in. So sorry about that. But we'll show you what that looks like in a second. And from here, really, the other things you can do is you can actually go to Carl's profile and, you can say, okay, I'm not interested in this listing, but I see he's out of Daytona. And, maybe I want another listing, or maybe I just want to connect with him. And if you were logged in, you could follow him or send him a message. And of course, you can always email or call him. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just log in as a user so that we can make sure that we give you the full kind of package. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for 2 seconds so that I can do that. And then we'll be ready to go. And if anyone has any questions right now while I while I log in, feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. This is a good opportunity and you're always welcome to do so. So. All right, we're back sharing the screen in 2 seconds. All right, so I am logged in as Perlmutter Properties, which is David on the call, our founder's company. He has 2 companies for those of you who don't know. So the cool thing with that is Perlmutter Properties is often used to test a lot of our features. We also have a few members who we often test out new features with who have agreed to do so very graciously, and they help provide us a lot of input, and then we hope to provide that same value in return for them with the leads they get. So this is what it looks like when you're logged in, just so you know. And because we're kind of focused on searching today, I'm going to stray away from the profile page because there's a whole webinar that could be done on profiles. And I'm just going to go back to searching. So kind of a fun little shortcut is if you ever wanted to just go to our main search page without starting with like a location, you can actually just click this logo here and it will bring you to the most recent listings. So that is how Quantum Listing works. Everyone's listings get shared evenly except for those who participate in listing promotion. And so, but when you're on the main page, so Rick, he's one of our star users. He has hundreds, if not 1,000 listings on our site. And he often tests out new features with us. So he just added a listing, as you can see. And so I'm just going to show you some of the things that you can do. So I'm going to just go ahead. Delray Beach is just the place to be today for some reason. So we're going to click on that. And when you are logged in here, one thing that you can do is go back to this little sidebar over here. And the nice thing is there's a tooltip over every feature so you can see what it is. So you can actually add this listing to your saved listings. If I click on that, this user will get a notification that someone saved their listing. So I also, again, am not going to click on it only because I don't want to give out that false lead. But with that being said, when you do click on it, you can go ahead and go back to your profile, and under your profiles menu, you'll see a section called you'll see saved listings, and those listings will show up there. So that is how to save a listing. And when you do click on it, it will show up as green. And actually, I'll show you what it looks like. I'll do it with David's listing since he knows that we're testing things out here on the web meeting, just to give you the full experience. So I will click on this Chappaqua, New York retail for lease. And if you're in the New York area, feel free to check it out. And so you can see this is the little favorite button. And now that I added it to my favorites, it now has showed up as green. And you get a little notification saying that you did that. So that works out nicely. So below hand is these little two carrots facing each other are for an iframe. And so if you're not familiar with iframe, it essentially is a snippet of code which you can then take and put on your website. So we actually have users who use this in order to serve their listings from Quantum Listing to their website. I know, I believe Barry Endelson, he's in New York. I believe they do this. I could be wrong. Actually, they send their listings. They send the link over. Sorry about that. But Perlmutter Properties, of course, utilizes this feature. And this is this is included with our membership. So this kind of a service, if your company's already paying for that, that's one thing. But if you're not using something like this, you actually can check out all of your listings on your site without paying any extra fees. So this is, people can search your listings through here, and it's really great, and it updates in real time. So you don't have to upload it more than once. You can add a listing on Quantum and it will automatically go to your website using your iframe feature. So that's something that's really popular as well. The next piece here is a place to make a note. And I know, David, if you're still with us, David, you use this feature quite a bit, don't you?
Yes, I do. It is very...
If you don't mind giving us some examples of like types of things that you put on notes, that would be great, just because you are a broker and you use it in real life.
Sure. Well, there are a lot of different ways that I use it. For instance, I have a restaurant listing, and so I have notes there about the real estate taxes and the capacity and the number of parking spaces. And for other listings, I'll sometimes, if I sell or lease something and I need to remember, what it's sold for or leased for, I can put that there, and then I'll save it in the archive after it's off the market, and I'll always be able to access that in the future. I can also use it to put a little reminder about when I need to collect the next installment of commission. And if I see something that somebody else put up there and I know that it's not available anymore, or there's some other things that I wanted to remind myself about that listing, I can use it for other people's listings as well. The listing notes are private, so only you get to see them, even if it's not your listing. You are the only one who can see that.
Yeah, no, I think that's an important thing to note, is that obviously if you make a note on your own listing, only you can see that. But if David were to go over to someone else's listing and just write something down, like really anything, that note is only accessible by David. And so your notes will then appear on your profile page. So similarly to how all of your saved listings show up under your saved listing section, all of your notes, you can see David has 27 notes here, and they'll all show up in a really nice format so that you can delete them when they're no longer relevant. And you can also feel free to edit them as things change or as prices change, or even, tenant names or whatnot. So I really like that feature as well. Another really fun feature that I don't think we could talk about enough, honestly, is our listing report feature. So what this does is it allows you to basically create really a PDF or an email that has a list of relevant properties that you either want to save for yourself, send to an owner, send to a prospective tenant, whatever it may be. It's really easy to use. All you do is click this little plus button when you see a listing. And as you can see, the tooltip says add to listing report. So you go ahead and click on that and click on it again in case it didn't work the first time. It should have added, but let's make sure. And this is a really nice thing to do. We actually use this feature when we send, we tend to do commercial real estate haves and wants sessions. And when we're preparing for those, we'll usually pick one asset class. So maybe we'll do multifamily for sale, and we'll create a listing report beforehand, or we'll do it during, and then we send out that listing report afterwards, and we actually create it as an iframe that sits on our site. So I'll actually show you what that looks like right now while I have you. Hopefully these are still active. It's quite possible they would have been deleted. So I apologize in advance if it doesn't work out. But with that being said, it is a very, very cool feature. So once you have a listing report, so here, sorry if I'm giving anyone motion sickness. All right, the current ones might be a little outdated. I don't know if, apologies for that. I suspected that might have been the case, but essentially once you create a listing report, you can send it out to anyone via email. You can put it on your iframe, put it on your website, whatever it may be. And it's just a really great way to have a list of listings that you selected that you now want to share with people. I'm going to try making a report one more time just so I can show you guys, because I really think it's worth seeing. So you actually can do it from this main page too. So instead of clicking that plus button that I showed you earlier, you can also click the 3 dots in the top right corner of the listing card and click add to listing report. And I'll do a few different ones. I think this is my internet and not our site, because it seems like the pop-up's not working. So what I'll do is I will create a listing report and share it with you guys when after this webinar in the replay. Oops, sorry about that. So it is really worth seeing, and it's a really great tool for searching and for sharing with people. Anything to add there on that, David?
Actually, if you go to the info section.
Info section. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. You have a listing report. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Oops. I'm clicking too fast. Tend to do that.
Go down there, Jim.
What's up?
Slow down.
Slow down. All right, so this is an example of a listing report. And as you can see here, there's 3 different things you can do with it. The first thing is the iframe, which I already mentioned. The second is to download it, which, by the way, you can download it and then send it as an email. Or you can use the third method, which is sending it out via email. I will actually take the list of emails from this webinar, and I will send this to you guys when the webinar is over so that you can see it firsthand. And it's really nice because it gives a preview of the important information. And then if you're looking at it, if you get it via email or really any format, you can actually then click on the listing and it will bring you specifically to that link. So even when you have a PDF, which is really cool, it will actually, it has the list, and then you can click on it and get more details about that property. So that's definitely one of my favorite features on our site, and it's really useful. Other things, just kind of going down this list, is you can create a listing PDF if you don't already have a flyer made up. It's basically going to take all of the relevant information, including your images and all of the descriptions and property overviews, and put it into a PDF. We recommend that if you want to have something that is, super like high quality marketing, obviously this isn't 100% the best thing, but it's something that is very, very useful if you haven't had the time to make a listing flyer yet. It basically just takes this page and puts it all into a PDF in a very easy to read fashion. And it does include all the listing images and the map as well, and your contact information, which is important because if someone likes your listing, they have to get in touch with you. And actually you can see here, this little tab with 3 listings. This is basically for the listing report that I already mentioned. So when you did add a listing to a report, it creates this little ribbon and you click on it, and that's how you then get to that report we saw earlier, which is always also really cool. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time and make sure that as important as it is to cover everything, I also want to make sure that we don't have any questions, or if anyone needs to hop off, that is totally valid. I think we've gotten through kind of the main pieces of information I wanted to get through today. This searching for commercial real estate is one of many topics that we present about. So other popular topics are about our marketing center, which is, includes our listing promotion, our brand promotion, our Google ads, all really, really useful, low cost options to get your listings way more exposure. We also do webinars on just how to get started with QuantumListing, and all different sorts of topics. And, we also very regularly have guests on who are experts in their particular field. So, but here you can see these were the 5 tips for search success when you're not logged in. So we did do the search filter. We did do the contact the agent button. I told you can reach out via email. The state search page I wouldn't worry about, but I can include that in our follow-up email. And then the search request was just from that home page. Underneath the search box, there was an area to create a search request. We recommend doing that if you've searched and you haven't found it and you don't want to spend more time. You will get emailed every week letting you know any listings that are in your specified search criteria. The search tips when logged in are sharing the listing via email, which I showed you, saving the listings, making a note, creating a listing report, and then you also do have a state network and group that also has all of your listings. And so I'll show you quickly what that looks like. And in the meantime, I will check to see if we have any chat messages. Oh, okay. And so here, David's a member of a lot of groups because he is the man behind the platform. But what you can do is you can go to a specific network or group. And you can check out the listings in that area. And that's a nice way to not only see listings in your area, but also a really great way to connect with other users in your market. And you actually can even send messages to these people and say you have a listing that you want seen, or if you have a want, which I should briefly tell you, we do have a way to post your wants, which is a great way to search. And when you are in these groups, you can not only can you look at their listings, but you can send out messages. So, I could send a message to the New York group saying, like, check out this Chappaqua retail for lease listing that I have, and I can send the link, and the link becomes clickable to everyone, and everyone in that group will then receive a message via email and on their notification center, which is right here, saying that they have a message in their New York group. But this is great too, because this is a great way to look at other users in New York. I can click on their profile, or I could send them a direct message by clicking this little chat bubble. And we really enjoy doing that. So I will wrap up just by showing you where you can post a want, since this webinar, or office hour rather, is focused on searching. I just want to make sure everyone is aware that all members can add wants. All you do is click this little want button and then click the green plus button, which is very similar to how you add a listing. And when you do that, it automatically creates one of these little boxes below, and it has this image automatically, and then you can type in your title, your location, any parameters that are relevant to what you're looking for. And just like someone can add a lead when they look at a listing, if somebody has a property they think fits your criteria, they can actually reach out to you, and you can basically receive a lead on your want, which is pretty cool. So I am going to, I promised myself I would keep it short and sweet. Hopefully it's been that. But this is, again, a nice opportunity to ask any questions you might have. So feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. Or you also can follow up with us by either checking out our, well, you can check out our How It Works section, which is at the top of our page. I showed you how to schedule a demo earlier with that green button. We have an intercom button, which is basically at the bottom right-hand corner of every page. You can click on this, and that will basically alert our team that someone has a question, and it's a very easy way to chat back and forth. It usually leads to a different conversation, but it's a really great way to get the conversation going. You always can email us at support@quantumlisting.com. You can also email me at julia@quantumlisting.com, or you can email David at david@quantumlisting.com. You also can call our phone number 844-QL1-LIST, which is our relatively new, in the last year or two, vanity number. So feel free to give that a try. And we'd love to see you back on one of our webinars. And in the meantime, feel free to check out our blogs, which get posted every single week. So we appreciate your time. And if anyone has any questions on pricing, this is our list of pricing so that you know. Like I said earlier, $89.99 to post for unlimited listings each year. You do get 30 days before you have to pay. And then there is a variety of options that are also low cost that get your listings an extra boost. So I'll leave that up here in case anyone wants to look at it, but you also can always reach out to ask questions or follow up on this matter, or on any matter, really.
Well, let me say thank you, Julia, for taking the helm today, and thanks to those of you participating in real time and watching sometime in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Love to hear from you. So be sure to stay in touch. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, David, for your support in this and for creating Quantum Listing. That's also really nice. and don't hesitate to get in touch with us. This is our contact page. Once again, I'll end on that. And most importantly, again, thank you for your time.